A red car stops in front of a bank, where three thieves get out to rob it. While they rob the bank, the driver, Baby, waits for them in the car listening to their music and starts dancing. When he finishes, his companions return to the car and start to escape, while several police cars follow them closely. Baby drives through the city trying to lose them, demonstrating his incredible driving skills, and soon after he gets into an alley, managing to get rid of them and arriving to a parking lot where they change cars. Upon returning to the base, the boy goes to get some coffee that he distributes to his companions, and sees how the doc divides the money from the robbery in equal parts. Baby sits listening to music and waiting, and his calm demeanor annoys one of his co-workers, who asks if he has a disability, but Doc assures him that the boy is the best at his job. The man goes over to tease him to see if he has any nastiness, but Baby doesn't even flinch, and when the guy finishes he puts his headset back on. After everyone leaves, the Doc and Baby go to the parking lot, and we watch as he keeps his share of the heist, giving the guy only $10,000. His boss says he still has one more job left to pay off his debt, and then leaves. At home, Baby lives with his foster father, Joseph, who adopted him as a child when his parents died. The man is deaf and dumb and wheelchair bound, but Baby is a good boy and always takes care of him. Baby keeps the money from the robbery in a hiding place under the rug, then sits with Joseph and watches TV. When the old man falls asleep, he takes advantage of the time to listen to some recordings he made during his conversation with Doc, and composes some music, recording it all on a cassette tape which he keeps as a souvenir along with hundreds of others. Among them, Baby sees one called Mama, which transports him to the moment of the accident. The next morning, Baby goes to a restaurant he goes to quite often, and a friendly waitress takes his order. The woman is new to the place, and seeing the tape recorder on the table, she starts joking and chatting with him. One talk leads to another, and Baby tells her that he works as a chauffeur, though he doesn't reveal much more. She notes his mysterious attitude, and says that she would love to have a chauffeur to travel with without a destination listening to music. Back at home, Baby starts dancing to a song, and Joseph notices that he is very happy, hinting with sign language that he is in love. Just then, the phone rings and Doc mentions that he has another job. Upon arriving at the base, the man introduces him to his new co-workers, and Bats is quick to tease him about his appearance and attitude, but Baby doesn't even flinch. Bats comments his concern for the boy to Doc, but Doc tells him that Baby is the best at his job, and tells him how they met. It turns out that Baby stole his car several years ago, not knowing who he was dealing with, but seeing his impressive driving skills he decided not to kill him, and forced him to work for him as part of his punishment. Minutes later, the doctor reveals the plan, saying they will steal money from an armored truck and explaining everything in detail. The next day, Baby drives the van and pulls up next to the truck. His companions put on their masks and get out with their shotguns to steal, while a retired Marine stands by and watches. They manage to get their hands on the money, but when they try to escape, the Marine crashes into them trying to stop them, and starts shooting. Baby quickly runs away while the guy chases them, but the guy doesn't want his buddies to shoot him dead, so he crashes him and manages to lose him. They stop in traffic and abandon the van to steal another car, with which they arrive at the parking lot where the getaway vehicles were waiting for them. Arriving at the base, Baby goes to get some coffees for the gang, being surprised to return and see that one of his buddies is missing. Bats says that the guy has made a mistake during the robbery, and scoffs, saying that he doesn't work for them anymore. In the parking lot, the doctor gives him the $10,000, and asks him to dispose of the car and his companion in the trunk, assuring him that way his debt will be paid off. As he watches the car being compacted, the boy has flashbacks to his mother on the day of the accident, and tired of his life of crime decides to return to the restaurant. The young man sits down, and when the woman asks him what he will have, Baby tells her his name. She introduces herself as Deborah, and the two soon get to talking about music and work. At the end of her workday, Deborah goes to the laundry room and invites Baby over to continue getting to know each other. The two flirt and talk about their lives for a while, discovering that neither of them have parents alive. Back at home, Baby reveals to Joseph that his debt is over, and the man is overjoyed. A few days later, Baby picks up Deborah at work to take her out to lunch. The young man takes her to an exclusive upscale restaurant and they enjoy a nice dinner, but when they ask for the bill the waiter tells them that their meal is already paid for. Doc had taken over, and when she goes to talk to him, the man tells her about a new robbery. Baby is confused and reminds him that he already paid off his debt, so he won't work for him, but Doc says he doesn't have another driver, and threatens him to kill his girl if he doesn't go see him tomorrow morning. The next day, Doc takes Baby to the post office to plan his next heist. The man asks him to go in and see how many guards and cameras are in place, sending him along with his nephew Sam so as not to arouse suspicion. Baby scans the building for cameras, guards, and number of employees, and after buying some stamps returns to Doc to tell him the details. Later, Baby calls Deborah at the restaurant, and tells her that as soon as he finishes this last job he wants to go with her and listen to music while they drive down the road. In the evening, Baby goes to the base to prepare for the mail heist, and discovers that his partners are Buddy, Darling, and Bats. Doc explains the plan in detail, but first they must buy new weapons from the butcher, a dangerous dealer in the illegal market. The four drive to the meeting place, but on the way Bats asks Baby to stop at a store. When the man gets off, Darling tells her boyfriend that Bats looked at her funny and made her feel uncomfortable, to which Buddy is quick to ask if she wants him to kill him. She says no before the robbery, and when Bats returns, the group continues on to the butcher's lair. Upon entering, the butcher shows them all the arsenal he has for sale, but Bats decides it's best not to pay, so he treacherously shoots the butcher, and a fierce gunfight begins between the two gangs. Darling is shot in the arm, but between the four of them they manage to take out the other dealers, and flee with all the guns. On the way, Bats tells them that he recognized one of them and is sure they were undercover cops, so they did the right thing. Soon after, they pass Deborah's restaurant, and Bats says it's time to get something to eat. Baby refuses, as he doesn't want to take his buddies there, but Bats leaves him no choice. Upon entering, Deborah sees Baby worried, so she pretends not to know him and goes to take their order. When the girl brings them the bill, Bats pulls out his gun to rob them and leave without paying, but Baby quickly stops him. Bats realizes that Baby knows the girl and cares about her, so he goes to the car, and seeing that everything is getting out of hand, Baby pays the bill and leaves him a note that says trip at 2 a.m. Upon returning to base, Doc quickly frames them, saying that the butcher never called to confirm that the deal was done correctly. Bats lies, saying they were set up and the traitors shot first, so they had no choice but to kill them. Hearing this, Darling and Buddy decide to play along, but Baby looks at them suspiciously. Doc laments, saying that it's impossible to go through with the plan since they'll have the entire police force after them in a few hours, but both Bats and the pair decide to take a chance and do the heist. Finally, Doc asks Baby for his opinion, to which the boy replies that they should sleep in and rob the mail in the morning. That night, Baby tries to escape at 2 a.m. to leave with Deborah, but is stopped by Buddy and Bats in the parking lot. The boy swears he couldn't sleep and only goes for coffee, but the two suspect Baby and knock him out. When he wakes up, Baby is tied up next to Doc, and they lay on the table all the tapes he recorded for years. Doc plays Deborah's, to prove to her that he knows about him and the girl, and Bats appears in Joseph's wheelchair, to scare him and make him comply with his plan. At the same time, Deborah waits for Baby at the restaurant, but the boy never comes for her. The next morning, the gang arrives at the post office and both Bats and the couple get out to rob the place. Baby waits in the car, and soon sees the cashier who served him the day he went to investigate the place. The boy signals for her not to come in, so the woman turns around and returns with a guard. The officer approaches the car, but suddenly the gang comes out of the post office and Bats shoots him, managing to get into the car to escape. However, Baby doesn't want to speed, and when the man hits him, the boy steps on the pedal and crashes into a truck with metal rods sticking out the back, driving them into Bats' chest and killing him instantly. The police quickly arrive and start shooting, and while Darling and Buddy take care of them, Baby runs trying to escape. The boy sneaks into a mall and steals some clothes to go unnoticed, but the police find him and continue the chase. On the way out, Baby steals a car from the parking lot and returns with Buddy and his girlfriend, but the girl is killed in a shootout with the police. Buddy goes berserk and shoots everyone, and since Baby knows that Buddy will want to kill him for causing Darling's death, he escapes again and this time steals an older lady's car, but returns her purse to her before leaving. Baby returns to her apartment, where she finds everything in disarray and Joseph lying on the floor. Luckily the man is alive, and after grabbing the money he is under the rug, he calls the restaurant to let Deborah know he's on his way. First of all, Baby takes his adoptive father to a nursing home, and after recording an audio to explain his situation, the man leaves in search of Deborah. Arriving at the restaurant, Baby sees Buddy waiting for him, determined to kill Deborah so that she suffers the same as him, but then a policeman enters the place. The officer doesn't recognize them and only asks to go to the bathroom, and Baby takes advantage of the distraction to shoot Buddy and escape with Deborah. When the officer comes out to check the situation, Buddy simply kills him. Baby calls Doc using a pay phone, but the man won't answer, so the pair steal a nice car and drive to the base. Upon entering, Baby asks Doc for his cassettes in exchange for the money they stole from the post office, but the man is very disappointed and refuses. However, when Deborah enters the room, the man is moved and decides to give her the recordings. Doc also gives them some money to escape the country, and as they go down to the parking lot they meet the butcher's men coming to kill them. Doc takes care of them, but unfortunately gets shot, and then they see a police vehicle approaching. It was Buddy, who quickly runs over Doc and goes after Baby. The boy dodges him, and quickly climbs with Deborah into Doc's car to try to escape. Buddy follows close behind them, and after a loud crash the young man stomps on the accelerator, pushing Buddy's car, which falls into the void. Baby gets out of the car to see if Buddy is dead, but Buddy surprises him from the side, and after saying he will kill his girlfriend he shoots next to both of Baby's ears, leaving him half deaf. At that moment, Deborah hits him with a crowbar and makes him drop the gun, and while struggling with the girl, Baby takes the gun and shoots him, making him fall into the void. Baby loses consciousness, and when he wakes up, he finds himself in the passenger seat next to Deborah, driving down the road while listening to music. When they reach a bridge, they encounter a police roadblock. Deborah tries to drive in reverse, but Baby hits the brakes and kisses her, then gets out to turn himself in. Baby is sentenced to 25 years for the robberies committed, but many people come out to defend him for being a good person. The post office cashier says he tipped her off about the robbery. The old woman whose car he stole remembers how he returned her purse and asked her forgiveness, and Joseph and Deborah also testify on his behalf, which reduces his sentence to 5 years in prison with the possibility of parole. During his prison sentence, Baby receives letters from Deborah with places they have to visit when he gets out of prison. After 5 years in prison, Baby is finally released, and on his way out he sees Deborah with a nice car waiting for him. Subscribe and turn on notifications to see more videos like this. Leave a like to help the channel out, and thank you for watching.